Virata School of Business at the University of the Philippines, Diliman. Notably, during his tenure at UPD, Roy played a pivotal role in advancing the university's learning infrastructure by actively contributing to the development of UPD's Moodle-based UBLE LMS as a project development associate. Currently, Roy serves as a teacher at the Philippine Science High School main campus. His leadership shone brightly as he spearheaded the Information Technology Unit or MIS during the implementation phase of the school's Moodle-based learning management system known as K-Hub. Roy's passion for education and technology continues to drive him toward excellence, shaping the learning experiences of countless students and professionals alike. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Roy Canseco.
That was very generous, Sir Ezekiel. I'm so glad to see you all here. Wow. I'm guessing you're all here by choice, right? So everyone is interested in programming, right? Teaching programming. Cool. Now, we're just after lunch, and this is technical. So the tendency for us to doze off is very high. Could I ask your help? Really participate and hike up the energy so that we can get the most out of this. Is that okay? Yes. Alright, okay. Perfect. Let's see if this works. Alright. The beauty of being the first presenter. And there we go. Okay, so for the day we've got to cross a big bridge here. We've got some background, some key challenges that has been with CS teaching for a decade. So we're gonna start with that. Then we're gonna look at the big idea of VPL. That's one of the solutions. It's not everything, but it's one that we were able to implement in Philippine science in a very cost-effective and now painless way. I'm saying now painless because a few years ago I actually bled for it. But I want to share with you means or ways or techniques so that you can find it happy, smooth, and valuable, alright? And of course, after that, we're going to check advantages. Boom, auto-program checking. Saves you countless hours. Boom, anti-plagiarism tools. Right now, more than ever with AI, with a lot of people going to program, very important. Multi-language support, you don't know when the biggest disruption would come in. I mean, now it seems that Rust is getting up, but it's not being taught. What if next year you have to teach Rust? Things like that. And then after that, I'll show you how we set it up. And all my secrets, promise. Is that cool? Cool. Alright, let's begin. I'll show you my tricks. Oops. This is a study that has been funded by Google, directed by ACM, American Computing Machinery, biggest publishing thing for CS, yes, in partnership with Microsoft. So the biggest giants came in 2013 with the University of Chicago to create this study. And one of their key results is this. The problem of computer science educators is the struggle against updated materials. By the way, in UP, it's been a target for us. All the knowledge in CS is half every 4 years. So 4-year course in CS and UP, we know that if our graduates don't go into industry or go into further studies or go into research in 4 years, what they've learned, sweat, what they've earned would be half in value. So very important, up-to-date materials, software, and hardware. 3 things. This was a decade ago. Is this true now? Yes? built through 1 decade ago. But we've got things that help us. I'll show you. Virtual programming laboratory. This is something we stumbled on during the pandemic because as teachers, we wanted the kids, the students, to still come out of the pandemic programming ready. And this is what we've seen, right? We've got benefits for both ends, for the students and the teachers. But the story here, right? The story here is that for the teacher, it's obvious for us. It's countless hours at night checking God, or the tendency to just like perfect everyone, or just give them like a single score, or not check at all, or not even open their grade. You know, there's that tendency pulling out. That's exhaustion. That's removed by this technique. And for the students, it's even better. For the students, they don't have to set up and install their NetBeans, their what else? Their code blocks, their idle, their PyCharm. They have to do that every year, right? For us teachers, normally we just install once because we teach the same thing every year anyway. Which, by the way, happened to me in reverse because when I went in the last 4 or 5 years I was teaching in Philippine Science, I've handled grade 8. Then grade 9, then grade 10, then grade 11, 12. Then for 2 weeks, grade 7. So it was my problem too. How do I do the environment with my computers, with my laptop, with my lab, and teach all of that with all the changes every year? So we searched and we found and we tried and we set up and we got into this. Supposedly there's pictures here. I don't know why the pictures aren't showing. But it's supposedly the pictures of our actual system while they're being used by students with all the IP or the identities mashed or hashed. And it's not showing right now. But anyway, hopefully the other pictures would be showing up later. These languages, do you feel that they're important? Do you teach these? Yes? That system, VPL, could handle all these languages. I'm going to show you. Hopefully if it shows up, it still doesn't. Pero this slide is supposedly showing a screenshot of our system showing that all those languages existing at the same time. And with auto detection. Meaning if I put in a program that is .py and another student puts in a program that's .js and they run it, they're going to be assessed or checked as a JavaScript program and as a Python program. If you put a CD file there, it's going to check as a C++ and still with the same instructions in the same grading system. Right. Again, I apologize. I don't know why it's not showing. We checked this yesterday, but for some reason, the pictures are not up here right now. Let's go to research first, maybe. Let's go to research first. Because with the VPL, or at least the pictures or the message I'm telling you, two things get sort of fixed. One is the hardware, and the other is the software. The reason for that is that the software is already there, and it's in your Moodle, it's in your LMS, it's a plugin, right? So now comes the hardware part. The hardware exists in your phones, in your tablets, in your laptops, in your desktops. And I promise you, I've had students who have the best grades in the most awesome projects. Some of them did it on their phones. It was grueling. I see them crying in the corner at times. But hey, they got it done because they didn't have better equipment. But that's okay. We're a public school. That's understood. Some of them did their projects on tablets. That's all they had. Others had laptops and others used the school's desktops to do their projects. But the thing is, whatever their hardware is, the computation, the compiling happens in the cloud or in the server that you set up. That's the magic there. So if you put this up or set this up right, you're actually fixing the problem of the software and the hardware. So our major issue now boils down to the updated materials. And these are what the most recent researches are supposed to show. Oh my gosh. Would you like to, let's take a break and use the PDF back? I think we're giving them a disservice for, not showing them anything at all. I'm gonna ask for a 2-minute technical break for fixing. Thank you so much for understanding.
Record ba agad ko? Baka sa inyo sa amin. Ano si Ardan?
Wow, this looks much better. Here, I was telling you about this environment. I was saying that it's interactive, it's secure, and it's web-based. And I was showing that for this is an example of how it goes. The student writes their code up, and then immediately once they press evaluate, their feedback comes out to them. It gets compiled in your server, in your cloud, and the student says, oh, okay, you failed test 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So the student got 1, 2, and 7 correct, and he has a partial score of 6.38 out of 17 for this programming exercise. Immediately. How cool is that? So if the student gets that immediately, he can opt to raise his score by trying again. And the feedback does not stop there. It can, again, your option, you're the teacher, you call the shots. If you set this up well, you can tell it to show the specific input and the program output of the student and the expected output or the correct output. So basically, you could guide the student and point him to where he's messed up. And he could try again in the span of what? Seconds. Whereas before, the student submits their project, their program, and he has to wait for you to have time to sit down, download the program, compile it, check it out, and type out the comments. How revolutionary is that, right? Isn't that exciting? Alright. So, if you're on the server side, this is using JavaScript and backend code, and it's using asynchronous technologies. So basically, if your server is too cramped up, it's not gonna queue and crash. What it will do is that it will evaluate either and give the answer or evaluate and reject, meaning it would die down this part, so that the student just has to click on the evaluate button again. It just means that the server is busy, so it's not accommodating the request. Meaning this technology is not very dependent on you giving higher server capacities. You could start low, and then see that the students are getting to have to press evaluate a couple of times to get their evaluation, and then raise it up. So it's actually easier on the pocket. So that's how we're able to afford it even as a public high school. Alright? So those are the advantages that we want to show you. Aside from it being a secure web-based platform, how that security comes in, it's going to be in the parts later on. And here's the part where you now don't need to turn it in. Right? Turn it in. Normally, it's what you check for plagiarism, and it doesn't do code very well, especially for templated code. Diba? So instead, it has this security checker, and if it checks two students side by side, and gives you a red mark. The deeper the red, the more chances that it's plagiarized, right? And when you click on the links there, it would go to this screen, immediately telling you or putting the lines that are the same side by side. So those three equals symbols there, they're the lines that are the same. Okay? So it shows you in a very easy way and allows you to spot cheating. And you'd have evidence to give your discipline office as well. Easy, right? Alright, what else? It comes with a lot of languages, but these are just the popular ones that they're telling you. If you set it up correctly, you can have all these. These are the languages, all the way from Fortran down to Prolog, if you're using it. Okay? And that's not all. Look, I got a scroll bar halfway down. Meaning if I scroll up, there's twice as many of those there. As long as you set it up. Alright? So the power of having one platform to do your statistics in R and your scientific programming or scientific computing in MATLAB, Octave, MATLAB/Octave, with your Python for your data science, with your C++ for your embedded systems, in one platform, hey, it's possible. It's possible now. So, this is the part where we look at the third pod or third leg of our stool. Right? So that it would stand right, the research says we need hardware, software, and updated material. According to the research, this 2023 research on AI in education, these are the things that are very important to note. There are AI-generated solutions now. Meaning, if you give them questions and small programs, small snippets, simple things, simple tasks, they can ask AI for clarifications, sample solutions, and they can review it. Of course, as a teacher, meaning that your exercises must have templates, must have a little level of complexity so that they can just ask AI to solve it, right? But meaning they can learn with AI instead of waiting for you to give them more and more examples. Alright? Before, the students would tell me, sir, could you give me like 1 more, 2 more, 3 more, 4 more exercises so that they could learn the lesson. Right now, I give them 1 exercise, I tell them to play with it. And they're able to do it. And also, they can explain code. So, recently there's a high heat index. Who had your classes disrupted because of that? Your trainings disrupted? High heat, yes? Very much, right? You know what we did? What we did is, hey, look, I'm gonna give you a template code. It has database. So I'm giving this to grade 9 students, by the way. There's a database here in this Node.js code. I want you to run through this, and whatever you don't understand, ask AI. Alright? Then we'll see each other next week, and we'll discuss. How's that for materials? As long as you give them good foundation so that they don't fall into hallucinations, right? So meaning, it's possible to figure out your course to leverage AI for materials, updated materials. And now, you as a teacher could focus on algorithms, solving problems, making cool stuff, and the students can prevent writer's block. I had a student before who was just looking at the screen, wasn't typing anything, sir, I don't know where to start. This time, ask AI, how do I start a program like this? And then let's move from there. Sometimes, I even give them sample code so they don't have to start from scratch. But that's research number 1. Here's another research. I think this is 2021, 2023. So again, the most updated researches on AI. And what it give us, it tells us that the students who use code generators actually completed tasks faster with higher scores. Expected, that's expected. But here's the thing, if they had previous knowledge and they used AI, they remember it longer. Alright? So it's possible that they will have the knowledge you taught them to and bring it to college, to work, and things like that. And also, they could break down problems to sub-goals, meaning they could solve more complex problems with the AI. So it's worth not being scared of it because it has a lot of advantages. And here's another research. This is from Indonesia, so it's something closer to home, closer to the Philippine setting and the Philippine problem. And what it's saying is that personalized learning with AI, yes, but it complements teachers. Because otherwise, without good teachers, without good foundation, we fall to hallucinations. So it's a powerful tool, but we must be able to be there for them. And also, AI could be hit with cyber attacks. I'll show you how to prevent that. And hit with plagiarism, and you see BPL, how it prevents that. Yes? Alright. So they told me I got 10 minutes. This is the part where I sort of show you my secrets. I got like 5 minutes to like show it to you. It's going to be very quick. You with me so far? Yes? Okay. Here we go. We set up the VPL. VPL is a plugin. You just search internet, you download it, you install it to your Moodle as an administrator, and it works. Boom. Again, for testing. Not for your students, but for you. You gain confidence and then you move forward. So get the plugin, put it there, use it. Next, once you have confidence in the system, you set up your own jail server. Jail kasi secure. Right? The jail part is the security part. The server you're gonna set up is not hackable. I mean, it doesn't make sense for hackers to hack it, and they'll have a hard time doing that, and I'll show you how and why later. Okay, so you set up the jail server so that all the code your students run, it runs on that jail server. Not on the temporary server, but on the jail server, your jail server. And next is when you create assignments. Creating assignments, we won't have time for that. If you can have a workshop at some future point, I'd love to discuss that with you because I've been doing this for a couple of years now and my students love it. Okay. This is how it looks like. So when you search for it, you know the icon, it's green, it's weird, it looks like Comic Sans, but it really works. Right? You see that, you download that. Okay, so some things is that the system actually allows you to restrict copy-pasting. So if you're thinking that your students won't learn because they just copy-pasted, won't have it here. They will retype. As they retype, their mind will work and their muscles will build muscle memory in their code, and it's gonna be better for everyone. Yes? Alright, the system gives that. Alright, so this is where you put in your execution server. I just hashed the part where besides execution server is mapped to. So you're supposed to do that. Initially, you'll have the demo jail from Spain. So you don't use that for your students, you use that for testing. After you have your jail server, you put the ID there. This is just your Moodle site administration interface. Alright. But how do you get your own jail server? Many things. You can do VirtualBox servers, I've done that. You can do local LAN servers, I've done that. You can do cloud servers, I love that. Because my students could use it at home as well. And my co-teachers can use it at home. I can use it anywhere. I can use it on my phone. So basically, we're now using cloud servers for our jail server. Where again, if you've got other technologies, it works. Why I know it works? I've done that. I'm gonna tell you now which one we chose for a cloud. We chose Linode, and our good friends from the Pila will tell you why. Akamai has been a very good service provider. You can just ask them about it. Yes, right? Alright. So, I even put the amount of RAM that we're using for the normal classes. It's just 1 CPU, 2 GB RAM, 50 GB storage, right? So that's the actual interface of our Linode Akamai server. And here's the cost. It actually costs us $12 per month. What's that, di ba? Kung pumunta ka dito from Quezon City, you're paying 200 something Skyway, 200 something going back, parking 100 something. Sa price na pumunta ka dito, I got a month of BBL. Alright, that's cheap. if I have exams for my students, we put it up in like siguro mga times 4 of these specs, pero just for the exam duration. And we know bills by the hour. So technically, you can mitigate your costs very well. So nung una, ano pa kami, by the hour pa kami. Pero after a while, you just do it for a week. Okay na yun. The school could afford it kasi it's very cheap. Alright, so, how do you get it? Ayan, you can't just download it. You'd have to get it. Tapos, how do you get it? You enter your server first. Whether it's a virtual server, whether it's a cloud server. Pero here's my tip for the Windows users. Install Visual Studio Code because it has a very good terminal. It would ease up your initial tests. Right? And then use SSH to your server. So use suggestion ni Roy. Tapos, download the system, you use wget. You can get the GitHub source, not suggesting that. wget easier, less pain. You can install the source and even giving you the code. The code I use, by the way, so it works. You get into the installer, you run it, you make sure you have admin access. Ito na. So you've installed it. Pero how do you configure it so that it doesn't break? There was a year that the teachers keep on going to me because they got to fix the system, diba? And of course, what did I do? I automated. After a while, I don't want to fix it anymore. I automated. I made scripts. I'm gonna give them to you. Tips for installing for the first time: say yes, let's inscript. And yan, SSL, it's a certificate. Put in your email, put in a qualified domain name coming from Linode. You get it from Linode. Tapos say no to Kotlin. You might want to, pero it's still buggy. So I'm telling you now, avoid pain, say no to JGrass. You might want to, pero it's still a bit buggy. Save yourself from pain, huwag muna. The rest, really nice. Then accept the connections to DPL. Tapos, if you want to have a tip then, make sure there's a space in the box in your IP setup, alright? Just put a space top save. Sometimes kasi it gets a string, searches for strings. Okay, here's the tip. Sa box na yun, yun yung pinakita ko kanina, yung may hash. Now, ito yun. Here's the secret codes, ayan. If you're not using cron, no automation, you have to run this every 1 to 2 months. You can run it as is. Tapos what it does, it refreshes everything, removes cache, make sure everything's smooth. Kung lalo kang mababa sa server mo, you do this, 1 to 2 months. Yun na, you don't have to think about anything. Kasi na yung code. Right? Nare-renew yung certificate mo. What it means, ito yung ibig sabihin nun. It says full, non-interactive, ibig sabihin you sit down, you drink coffee, it's done, you're good. And start, meaning it starts once it's done, not while it's doing something else, but once it's done. So these are the keywords to put in 1 to 2 months if you want to do this manually. Pero if you want to automate it, you want to automate 3 things. You want to automate that the DPL service resets daily, as here's the way to do it. Cron lang, cron tab E, tapos here's the code. This means every 3 a.m. yung service yung pag-restart niya. This takes like a minute, so ano siya, less than actually. Tapos, after that, with the right permissions, you can forget doing the service restarts manually. Kasama yun sa list ng code kanina. Tapos, you want to restart the servers weekly. You do cron for that. Alright? You can do that. Para lang yung isipin. Automatic naman na mag-run si DPL once the server restarts if you install it the way it is. So far, so good? And then, you want to reinstall the whole system for any updates, possibly, every month. So, ito din yung code niya. So that you can do it without any issues. That includes the certificate. Kasi nalagay niyo na yung email niyo eh. You just put it once. Nalagay niyo na yung domain name niyo, you just put it once. Tapos okay na siya. And I can tell you this kasi I've used this for months now. Tapos wala siya naging issue. I never had to fix it. How's that? Di ba? Worth bringing to Moodlemoot? Yeah? Alright. Okay. So again, you'd end up with these execution servers, ganyan yung format niya, if you don't want to pay for domain names. Domain names that cost anything like $15 to $30 or more per year. Tapos you have to set it up. Mga name, you have to point. If you don't want to do that, just get this from your Moodlemoot, put them in, dun sa part na yan. Again, lagyan ko ng extra space sa dulo. Helps, you know, getting past your IP address lang. Basically, IP address lang yung kailangan. And now you're ready for class. In a very special way. For a class that hits on the software, hits on the hardware, hits on the updated materials that has been plaguing computer science education for a decade now. And you'd be fighting back. You'd be teaching and all in all, having a better computer science education for all. So with that, thank you everyone. I think I heard of that. Thanks so much.
Dapat ko na to sa kanya.
Okay, thank you, Sir Roy. If you have questions for Sir Roy, before we give the certificate, questions, clarifications?
Hindi ka muna. Hindi lang.
Okay, wala. So with that,
Yung pag ganyan nakakasunan.
my question is Sir Roy, but ask Roy. Ay, Sir Jude pala, sorry.
Hi, thanks for an interesting presentation. So you've been doing this for years now. Have you encountered a student trying to hack you?
Of course! Of course. Generally, they've been able to hack stuff from Discord, they've been able to hack JavaScript stuff. So they were trying to do that with VPL, and nope, didn't work. The reason is this: every time they hit evaluate, kahit na mali pa yung sagot nila, all that gets recorded. So suddenly, I can have for a particular student or one program up to mga 22 sa 7, para bawat link ng pag-try niyang mag-code na doon, you could go back. So the most that they were able to do is this: they were able to kill their last submission. Meaning yung grade nila from 13 points plus 13 perfect 13 points for a particular number, nag-0. And of course, that hit their grade and their parents came down, bakit mababa ng grade sa kanya kasi one step na lang to the next one. And then we really nag-black siya. Tapos when we raised the last submission, automatic na yun. Pati yung grade, sa grade ng Moodle, pati yung 1 to 5 niya, umakyat, tapos okay na lahat. So that's the most hacking that has happened. And again, it didn't pain the teacher, it just hurt the student in my years of experience. And Sir Jude, that's a nice question. Yun, thank you. Oh, baka may iba pa. You could really ask me. Kung di ako madamot sa code, promise hindi ako madamot sa sagot.
Some more questions? Yes, please.
Good afternoon. I'm John from Visayas State University. So,
Chairman.
I appreciate the presentation because I too implementing in our school Code Runner. Yes. So, my question is because this is the problem I encountered with my course that I teach at the level. For example, the specific course that is object-oriented programming, instead of console-based exercises,
Right.
I want to check really the modifier access and so on. I have a hard time in Code Runner to do that. So, is the VPL having a feature to specifically check the, let's say, modifier access and so on, and also the UI UI outputs for, let's say, GUI programming.
Alright, great. Okay, sige. You'd probably figure it out on your own once you see it. But here's the shortcut. It can check because it knows what to expect. And how do you tell it what to expect? You create test cases. So for now, the test cases are in text. So meaning if it's GUI, so web programming and Java GUI programming, you can have it auto-check. But you can have it run. Alright, so for Swing, this is not JavaFX, I don't know if you're doing that, but for Swing, it should be able to produce it. What I'm sure of, because I use that for web development, it could bring up the HTML, CSS, the whole website, so you can check it visually. Alright, so for visuals, it cannot auto-check yet. And that's a little bit good too, because otherwise your server specs would be much higher, so that it could do that. But if it's text output, you can. So maybe you could now have a project that would exercise the student GUI creation and have the lessons on like looping or class creation, alright, within VPL. That could match text test cases and automatically create them for you.
So do you think there are unique features of VPL compared to, let's say, Code Runner, for example? Or have you...
Right. Now, Code Runner is something like Replit, I mean, in the sense that it's generally a generic term for having stuff to compile, build, and run. Right? So that's basically what Code Runners is for. I don't know if your Code Runner in particular is able to suggest grades, automatically go to your grade book and put those grades in. Kasi dati I've been using other technologies, but I have the hassle of putting it in Excel, then importing it to my Moodle gradebook, and so on and so forth. That will induce problems. This one, it does it directly and automatically without me needing to bat an eye. So if it has that level of integration and it works for you, by all means, please tell me about it. I want to learn too. But you know, what I'm telling you here is that this has achieved for me like an extra few hours every night so that I can play with my kids instead of checking code. And for that, I'm very, very excited to like share it with you. That's all. Thank you. Thank you too. That was a very good question, sir. Code Runner, it's very important too for teaching computer science.
Okay, no more. So thank you very much. May I please call in Mr. Roy Romantes, the Chief Technology Officer of DPLab, to give the certificate. The certificate of appreciation is given to Mr. Roy Canseco in grateful recognition for sharing his invaluable knowledge and experience to the participants of the Moodlemoot Philippines 2024, given this 23rd day of May 2024, held at the Century Park Hotel Manila. Signed, Ms. Cheryl R. Villaroman. Okay, thank you very much.